Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're taking a look at the tangle Paradisum from CZT Oswaldo Burbano Sandoval. So I had a lot of fun with this tangle today because at the time of this recording, it is Thursday. And Thursday is Tangle Time Day, and where I do two sessions, and an AM and a PM session. If you are interested in joining us sometime, I pick the tangle. I don't give any forewarning of it, even to my mom, who is kind of my co-host on these. It's always a surprise, and that makes it kind of fun. But anyway, if you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. If you go into the description section, scroll down, you'll see a link to my step out, a link to Oswaldo's Instagram, where he has his step out, and some amazing pictures of tiles that he's done with this tangle. And you'll want to make sure to take a look at that because it's so versatile, so many different things that you can do with it. You'll want to take a peek at that. And then below that is a link to my website, Facebook group, and things like that, so you can connect with me. And I would love to have you join us on a Thursday. All right, so this one starts off with a curve line. Now, what I did on my step out is I added some. I didn't add some steps. I separated some of the steps and just so it probably looks like it's longer than it really is. But for me, I needed to separate some of the steps out just for the way my brain works. All right, so I'm gonna do this on the corner, and I'm gonna start right here. And so it's kind of a curved line going into like the beginning of a spiral. What this makes me think of is the side view of like the end of a violin, so the scroll, or if it was to continue down here, like they call the is it F stop? You know, the holes that are in guitars or violins kind of has that shape. So I do that on one side, and then I'm going to do it on the opposite side, like so, and I end up curling my things in too far. But you know what? As you'll see if you look at Oswaldo's link, there are so many different ways that you can do this, so we just don't worry about anything else. All right. Next step is an aura. So we're going to aura this entire thing, but we're going to start at one side, and on this curved part. And I'm started with it connected, then I'm pulling out just a little bit, and then coming around. And for those that, if you're new to Zentangle and don't know what it means to aura, this is what it is. It's just essentially an outline. And we just do our best to pick a distance from the original line that we're it's mirroring, sort of. Not mirroring. That we're tracing, outlining, whatever term works for you. Trying to keep the same distance. And if you don't, it's okay. It's all okay. And then coming back and then merging right back into that main line. So then we have it look like this. All right. Next, similar idea. We're going to come off of this, and you can decide, how far, down you want to go. And because, mine are kind of towards the edge, I think I'll still do this. So we're going to top this thing off, and I'm coming off a little bit further, and then coming into a curve line. I try to aim for the center. Sometimes I hit it, sometimes I don't. And then we're going to come back around the other side, and then merge right back into that main line, like so. All right. Then we're going to do a couple seeds. And in looking at Oswaldo's link, there's a couple ways you could do this. I'm going to make them more seed-like. So a seed is a curved line one direction, curved line another direction. I'm going to put two in here. So like so. He had like a more squattier, squared off version as well. It looked like that could be an option. And I have switched to my Graphic 1 pen. And I'm checking to see see if my camera is okay. Well, I apologize if it's going in and out. Oh, it's trying to auto adjust, and someday I'll afford myself a setup that isn't doing that. All right. Okay, so filling those in however you like. And then we're going to do some more auraing. So I'm going to just do one side. In the step outs, I did kind of like both sides and then, stepping out both sides at the same time. What I found just for me personally is I kind of like to do one side at a time. And I share that because we all work differently. And that's okay. And, you do what works for you. I like to share different ideas because if you feel like something isn't working for you, well, maybe a different suggestion will help. All right. So we're going to I did 3 auras. Then, and mine, and because I seem to be sticking with this same concept, I'm making more of a point. You don't have to do that. I'm kind of really coming to a point and then, so it's like curve line, but you could, have that smoothed out if you want. Again, taking a look at the samples that Oswaldo has will give you that idea. Then next is we're going to do, I haven't looked up, I think this stroke is in a number of different tangles. I wanted to call it fescue, but it's not really fescue. It's kind of more like the beginning stage of opus, but we were calling it fescue-esque. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue my aura like so, but then as I come up, I'm going to leave a little bit of room and then curl that line back on itself like so, and then fill it in. And it's probably like a frond of something, and I think I'm going to have to look at some different tangles and then look at and see too if Rick and Maria have made a name for that. It's just really lovely because I like adding it to things. We could call it fancy fescue, I suppose. And then another one. So what we have is a pattern of 3 auras and then the fescue shape. I'm just going to call it that. Then 3 auras and then another one. Now, looking at Oswaldo's samples, he changed it up on a couple of his where he did a different stroke. So he kind of did a spiral. So it still came up, but then was in a spiral instead of it being like this. But so that is up to you. It also shows you can kind of, if you think you want to do a little something else, then of course you can. And I'm going to continue down this, like I said, until you kind of can't fit anymore. And when you can't fit anymore, then you could do some little curve lines. That's what I ended up doing. See, now mine are looking a lot more like a little fescue. Yeah, I did a decent job of keeping it kind of straight. Keeping this a little wider than some of the other ones that I did. I had some that got really, really thin. Okay, now we'll do the other side. All right, and on this other side, you might decide to flip your tile completely around, or I'm gonna continue it the same way. What you want to make sure to do is just do it so that way you're comfortable, so that your hand's comfortable, and you feel like as you're drawing, it doesn't feel awkward. A lot of times with the curve lines, as you can see, so my pen is covering the lines that I'm auraing, and a lot of times I don't like that. But when I'm doing a curve line, sometimes, it goes with the natural curve of my hand, and so sometimes that's a lot nicer than flipping it the other direction and being able to completely clearly see, what my pen is doing. Oops, sorry. tile got away from me. Move my little marker. I have a little marker here that, a little wax seal with my chop on it that my brother nicely had made for me for Christmas one year. That's that purple blob that you see, and I used a marker on it so that way you could see the pattern. It's such a cool thing. You know, and let me also add in this tidbit about these little guys. As you're doing a fill-in, of course, so if you, like some of mine, it's like, well, like this one's like, oh, I want like a little bit higher. And because it's filled in, we can use that as a course correct. And so I'm drawing mine, these, little fescue guys going up. And I know on our call today, somebody said, well, she is more comfortable drawing it, down. So feel free to switch and never feel like, oh, because she's doing it this way, oh, I should do it. Don't ever feel that way. However you're comfortable with your hand, and that you feel, and that where you feel like it's going to be more successful, a successful draw. Do that. All right, I'm just going to finish that off, and like so. And, so then the last steps, and it could be optional. So as you look at Oswaldo's samples, you'll see sometimes he's kind of left it like this. And then there are some where he auraed the whole thing, but started off with, and this I just have a little bit of room, and I'm going to go ahead and aura the whole thing, a little stem, or, a longer stem with some other, say, curly cues and things that look like, it just makes it look kind of viney and very, very plant-like. And that's neat. And so, sometimes auraing the whole thing is just such a nice finishing touch. And again, similar thing, trying to keep the same distance. And then two, if something kind of goes awry, make note, but try not to focus on it too much, because there's lots of ways, and I'm just going to end this, and there we go. Now, there's lots of ways to correct, or course correct, as I like to say, once it's done. Number one, first thing is, it's like, okay, well, could it be covered with shading? So what I'm going to do for shading is I'm going to go around the perimeter with some graphite. And even I'm going all the way down here, even though it's gonna end up kind of just being filled in down there, but that's okay. What we want to make sure is to have some tile color, so this will end up making it look kind of poofy, which is neat. You could just leave it flat too, and not, it's one of those up to you. Could also have fun with, coloring in some things, using some color period. You certainly could do that. Actually, I'm going to do that second. I'm telling myself I'm going to do that second step later. Okay. So now I'm just taking my tortillon and making some little circles, and as it's getting a little tighter, I'm doing just more of a back and forth. Oh, I should have just done one half and then the other half. Where it's a little bit, where I have more area, I bring it out maybe just a little bit more, because there's room. Because without the, actually, so look at that. So this is just with it drawn, and that's with it, brought out with the tortillon. You always want to have that original tile color in there, so that way then you get an effect. And seeing down there, I'm not bringing it out so much. It's still, even though it's kind of all gray, you can still have a little bit of, where it's a little lighter, or I should, actually, no, let me take that back. It's a little darker on either side, which then in turn makes it lighter in the middle. So you could leave it like this if you wish. One thing that we were doing is, like, because I made these sharp points, I decided to put some graphite there, And then with the tortillon, I'm just spreading it out to both sides. And it just, I don't know, it just makes it kind of neat. So that is our Paradisum. And do take a read too of the description. It's on Instagram. If you're looking at it on your phone, you can click to translate it. It basically means paradise in Spanish, and it's just a really neat tangle. So let me show you really quick. Let me pull this up here, just because since I have this nice sample, and I'm so tickled with it to have it done. But so this is what I did in my early session. And this was done on a Renaissance tile, so it's a tan tile. You can see the comparison there. And I used both black and brown pens, along with a white jelly roll pen and white charcoal pencil, along with graphite. And a gold jelly roll, just for some added effects. And I'm really tickled at how that came out. Then in our second session, I decided, this one is not done yet, I decided to do a Zandala, which is it's only like about 4.5 inch diameter circle tile. And so I decided I wanted to have them all kind of coming into a point, and then creating that, a stem that connects them. And they were kind of different sizes a little bit. But just wanted to have fun with that, and I'm going to add some other things to this. So it is a work in progress, but I wanted to share it with you. So I hope you enjoyed this. It was always, super fun to share. If you enjoyed it, would love to have a thumbs up, a like on the video, and also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribing to the channel is, of course, free. So if you want to, be alerted when when I've posted content, would love to have you as a subscriber. Also, hit the notification bell next to it, so that way you can decide how you want to be notified, if you want to be notified at all. Usually when I go to YouTube, I just see of those that I subscribe to, they come to the top of the list, and then I pick what I want to watch, things like that. So with that, I appreciate you watching so much and having fun with this. Enjoy the tangle again. I can't emphasize enough. Make sure to take a look at Oswaldo's link with his samples, just because there's so many different shape configurations you could do with that. You're not stuck with just doing this shape, and even these curves. I have to kind of look and really practice, because he had some that were just straight, some that were curved the other direction, and so I was just like, okay, I need to take a look and then figure out how I might do that if I want to do that. So anyway, with that, thanks again so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.